My name is Ceci, and I talk. I have been doing this talk for many years, and I'm part of the uh, Agile Alliance Brazil board. And today I work with many technologies. So if you want to talk to me, please feel free to contact me. If if you just stop next to me for 15 seconds without saying anything, it's a big chance that I start talking to you. So you don't really have to do much to talk to me. Just stop next to me, look at me, and I'll start talking to you. That's how it works. Yeah, great. All right. So this discussion here, I just wanted to remind you that this is a discussion in itself. It is really a debate I want to have with you here. A very, very interactive session. If you're here, of course, you can just sit down and listen. But I would really like you to talk, that really bring your opinion in. So the format we have for this talk is like this. I start making a brief introduction on the topic, and then what we'll truly do, what we will work in this session is not my answer. It is actually your answer. Questions and answers that come from you and to you about this hero culture, right? Yes, good. Thank you. Well, you should start speaking now, right? Well, but why am I here to talk about this topic? Well, this is something that I believe it is the third or fourth time that I submit this topic for this conference. It is the first time I give this talk because it is something that is very frequent to me and very dear to me. And I wanted to know, and I'm also very much frustrated by it. And are you frustrated with this thing of being a hero or having a hero in your team? See, almost everyone here is frustrated about that. So at least most of you, about 80% of the people here raised your hand in this question. We are frustrated people because heroes are things that really disturb our lives. If you are the hero, that's very bad for you. And if you have a hero in your team, it really bothers you. So how do you recognize a hero? Tell me. What is the normal behavior of a hero? Well, he works for 24 hours to deliver. He spends the whole evening and the whole night working, and everything is ready. He does everything by himself, doesn't have with the team. Well, people start doing everything, even outside the working hours, spend the entire night working and delivers everything that we would not be able to deliver with the team, right? Well, but the person went there and managed to deliver. Isn't it great to be able to deliver? Well, my problem with this is that, for example, when we deliver all these things, there are many. Well, first, overtime is something I'm very much afraid of. Whenever people say, "Well, I spend the entire night doing this," I don't like that. But the other part there is that we end up lying to the system. If somebody comes up and spends the entire night doing something, it seems that it is possible to deliver that much, and oftentimes you can't. This is a false impression that the team is actually working as it should, or that this person is there and deserves all the compliments for life, right? So it is a person that solves all the problems, goes there, puts out all the fires, and oh well, I'll do it. Just leave it to me. And he goes there and does everything, and between doing that, all that production problem, what happens most of the time? More problems come up. You know, uh, you know, oftentimes it happens. People start to solve a problem and creates another one, right? Do you remember that? Oftentimes I'm not saying that this is a bad intention. It's often a good intention. You come to solve a problem, and then you fix the bug, and you create three more that are there, underneath a huge number of cables that you have to work with later on. So the person who works, spends the entire night working, works like crazy, and it creates another source of bugs and bad codes. And it is very much like what Woody said yesterday. He prefers to be doing the right thing instead of busy all the time. He said instead of being busy the whole time, being busy is something you are always busy the whole time, but maybe you're not using your time wisely. Oftentimes this person is working there like crazy and is being very much occupied, but not necessarily doing what would prevent bugs from appearing later on. And I like recognizing heroes as those that cannot have a vacation. That is my definition of a hero. Okay, let's open our hearts here, people. Let's open up here. Can you yourself, you, each one of you here, can you take vacations being sure, quite sure, that the world will not fall apart and nobody will call you? Can you? Raise your hand if you can, if you have this, if you can take breaks, vacations. About 30% of the room here can do that. Right, right. To be able to take vacation is one of my metrics of personal success. If I can take a vacation, if I can take a break, I believe I am a successful professional. That's how I see it. And this is very relevant. And the questions we have for today, there are many, but what I really wanted is that they would come from you. I have two there to give you examples to start, to get the ball rolling, but I'd like you to give me your questions so we can put them up there and everyone can see it, all right? So let's see. Well, the questions I brought to you to start with is, the person who is a hero, does this person really want to be a hero? Right? So this is one of the questions. And the other question I brought to you here is as follows. All right, so we don't want heroes because heroes are bad for our culture, bad for our code, bad for our work environment. But then, as a company, aren't we, fostering this behavior or stimulating people to become heroes? You spend the entire night working. Somebody comes the other day and says, well, that was great. I know you are very much committed to this business. Or you tell everyone, no, no, here we don't have overtime. We don't do overtime. And then we do an open source project at the weekend that solves exactly the business problem there, right? And then they say, oh, no, that's great. The person went there and solved the problem. And, well, let's give this person an award. The person spent the entire weekend working. Okay, it's your time to work. What other questions you want me to answer here today? Well, how can we remove this spirit of a hero from people that have this deep-rooted in them? Well, I think there's another point there, which is the side effect that you might have from this, because the hero it becomes the untouchable, and then you have the anti-hero syndrome happening there. When I see myself as a hero, what do I do when I see myself as a hero? Oh, just a minute, let me write it down there. Okay, good. So how to, stop being a hero? João, what was your question again? What is the side effect? How to deal with people who like being heroes. To reduce the heroism of someone and make the entire team become mini heroes. Not only one big hero, but the entire team shares this task. I like the way you say it, and I remember what an animation said from The Incredibles, and there's a time when the villain comes and says, when everyone starts to be a hero, nobody will be heroes anymore. So I believe this is the idea. So the goal of these questions, if everyone is a little hero, everyone is just good and working well, right? Nice. how to work when, how to deal with it when the team, likes calling the hero and are just comfortable in doing that. And how can we detach heroism from bonus when the company financially awards these heroes? Well, this is within the issue of stimulating. Can I change your question, saying that how can we stop, the companies can stop, fostering this culture of breeding heroes? Can we say it like that? How can we avoid teams to become demotivated when we lose a hero, when the hero leaves the team and the team becomes, How about companies? Do they want to have heroes or do they want to continue having heroes? Nice, nice. All right. Now let's now, from now on, this is what we're going to do. We will talk about a topic, but we'll try to do in tweets, all right? In tweets. Very short answers. You go there and you use one sentence and one phrase, and then you have to pass the mic around, all right? Okay. So that's what we're going to do now. I would rather that people who want to talk to come closer. So we will try to get to you, and the person in the camera there and the microphone will have to run around showing this, right? Taking the mic. And what I wanted to know is from which question do you want to start this? And of course, we can continue this talk of heroes in the open space outside this afternoon, tomorrow, whenever you wish, okay? So, of all these questions, there, one, who is the hero? Those who are hero, do they want to be hero? Two, how to deal with people who like being hero, people who are heroes and like being that. Third, how to stop companies from stimulating, fostering this creation of heroes. Fourth, how to stop being hero. I am a hero today. How can I stop being a hero? Number five, what are the side effects of having heroes in my team? Six. It's easy to have a hero, to call a hero to do things. How do I deal with that? Seven, to avoid this fact of the team losing motivation when the hero leaves. And eighth, do companies really want to have a hero? So, have you chosen your favorite there? So let me, I'll do some guesswork here. Who likes the question number one? Who likes question number two? Right? Who prefers question number three? One. Number four. Number five. Seven. Eight. 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 One. Eight. Four. And the others had less people. So let's talking about this. Do companies want to have heroes or don't they? Well, this question, if companies don't want to have heroes, well, this question about companies not wanting to have heroes, this is very close to, stimulating the creation of heroes. Well, since it is very much similar to number four, they are close to each other. Well, I believe companies do want to have heroes. Yes, it has been shown here when people raised their hands. But how are we going to convince companies that they don't need to have these heroes, that this is bad for the companies? I'm not sure if I agree that people want to have heroes. Many companies say we don't want people working overtime, we don't want only one person dealing with this. But then, out of the blue, they are sort of without wanting it, they are stimulating people to become heroes. And I see a contradiction there. While companies say they don't want to have heroes, but their action is shows the opposite. It is very much associated to the company's mental model. The company believes, the company likes to have the person busy all the time, not necessarily doing the right things. So when there's a person that appears to be, idle, this bothers them. They don't want to see that as productivity. They believe the person is idle, is doing nothing. So there are some myths that have to be reassessed and reviewed. Otherwise, the organizations will stimulate the creation of leaders, of these heroes, not by talking, but by doing, by their action. Hello? Well, I'm not sure if companies really want to have heroes. I think they want the problems to be solved. And, sometimes it goes in the wrong direction of having heroes. But they want the problems to be solved. Well, along the same line, I believe companies want high-performance professionals. They work for that, for the company to have senior professionals, and oftentimes there is a connection between that person who has a high performance and solves things very well to be considered a hero. So I think that a company will not say, I want heroes, but I want the best professionals or high performance professionals, right? And not high performance teams, right? I agree with a little. I think no company wants to have a hero. The company understands that having someone working overtime is bad for the company. What the company wants is that everything they want to be delivered during working hours. But the problem is that there will be, shortcomings will happen, and unpredictable accidents might happen, and the company will have to decide: can we let it be delayed or not? So some companies have more heroes because they don't want to lose clients, especially if it's a new client. Otherwise, they can wait and delay the delivery and avoid this cropping up of heroes. Well, this might also be an issue of evolution, as it has been said. So, like people said here, this issue before, we wanted to have the problem solved. And we truly come from this culture of competitiveness. And in this culture of competitiveness, you have the one that stands out, the one that truly makes a difference. And I understand that we saw what is bad in this, and we are trying to take a step towards collaboration, because then it will not be one specific person. Everyone has his or her own value, will add somehow. But this is a development that people started to see that this is necessary, but they are still trying to see how we can get there. So it is still in this process of transition, of change. Sometimes I have this idea that this issue of becoming a hero, it is somewhat like the phenomenon of political polarization, right and left. There are few people who are heroes in the team. There are few people who are bad for the team, and but most are they are just there in the center. So because there are some people in the center, they end up stimulating the creation of these heroes, and the company ends up valuing that hero because it is seeing the hero as the opposite of a detrimental person there. I agree with what you're saying, that what the company want is a person to solve the problem. Not everyone is committed to that. So the hero is that person. Well, I'll do whatever is I need to do to solve the problem, because I believe the system, when this happens, and it happens in most of the companies, and the hero itself, the problem is to be able to delegate. So how can you teach people to solve? How do you decentralize the work? And this is the big challenge of stopping a hero's decide, because people sometimes don't want to have the hero because they want many people to be committed to that task. So this is how I see it. This challenge, the issue is to have someone who would solve the problem. If it's a hero at the end of the day, then so be it. Well, about this thing of saying that they don't want heroes, but that the company's actions end up moving in this direction, I think that in this despair that the hero is born from this, we have to deliver, we have to deliver. Nobody stops to think, restructure, and delegate, and especially not to stop for a minute to teach others. And then what happens? Where does the hero come from? The hero is the person who knows how to do it. And since the person does not have time to stop and teach someone else, it is the person who will know how to do it. Is the only person who knows how to do it. The people who are new, they are always floating around the hero because they don't know how to do it. They are unable to do it. And he ends up being this person. For example, I had of a project, I had 5 different people doing totally different things, and I had to do everything. Well, we have to talk to this person, to that person, the other person. I was the person who had to solve everything. So if this person, if I had a bellyache, for instance, the company will stop because, in these regards, this is what they said, this a bit associated to that. But I believe that it is a mindset. I believe the companies also do not want to have heroes. They do not want to depend on one single person. However, what ends up happening most of the time, it is more of an issue of trust, I would say. And managers, they have to change their mindset and start to trust other professionals and not the ones they are used to trusting. Because, when you delegate a task to the hero, so to speak, it is because of that, because the company's management trusts that that person will be always there, able to solve the problems that happen. So they don't want heroes, but they need to change this mindset and delegate more and trust more on other professionals and not only the current heroes of the company. Interesting. But one answer here. Well, I think that the companies do not want to have heroes. But then we have that question. What if the person one day, the person had to have this role of a hero? Nobody has to, but let's decide that it happened because of a pressure. What would happen that the person needed to be the hero? The company sees that, as you said. He ran a project during the weekend. Well, the company, in the experiences I had, the companies don't like this. They don't want this to happen. But if this happens, you let the person do, and you ignore what the person did. You do not acknowledge the work the person did. Well, I don't care for what you did. I think that because of this, that's why it ends up happening, and it is something that starts and grows without anybody noticing. It is almost at an unconscious level. Well, let's hold the question for a little. Let's try to gather all this information. So we have 2 different viewpoints here. Well, some of us believe that companies do want to have heroes. Maybe not by talking, but if we stimulate this in our daily routines, people end up being stimulated to become heroes when a company wants that. There are companies who don't want to have heroes, but they don't know how to deal with the fact when a person does a heroic act, so to speak. And then what do I do? What do I do with that? Right? That may happen. And did anybody see anything different from this in this session? Learn something different? Well, there's one thing here that was not much discussed. We have worked in a company during the interview. The person would ask if you had a family, because there you would no longer see your family once you started working there. So this same company, it is not the only company that does that. We were consultants there, and working in this market, we see this happening in many other companies, and it is the management model and the financial model that sucks all the marrow of these people. They will last for 1 year, and then they start again with this idea that the company will require a hero to work. This is not true. If you take over this role that you take the most from the person till the person can no longer work, and then you replace by someone else with this idea of a fast wealth that would motivate the person to do everything they can, about that. This is how I feel. And I would also like to add to this that we talk about heroes after they are built, but companies don't hire heroes. The heroes, they are built inside companies, and I think they stem from a chaotic process. KM Metra says that because of lack of organization and lack of a mature process, people end up doing things themselves, rolling up their sleeves and doing it. And I think the hero stems from this individualism. They crop up from this, despite the company saying they don't want it. But it is more or less within these lines of how the hero is built, and not after the person is already there. Well, I will say that the companies do want heroes, because heroes in the short run is what will save the company. And the company wants someone there who will solve the problem. It might even be that the person didn't want that when they hired, but when the problem appeared, they want a hero that will come and solve that problem. The issue is that how do you go about doing so that when this happens after once, this doesn't become what will happen, always. Well, it seems that we are moving towards another discussion here, which is I already have heroes. They already exist there. They appeared with the best of intentions to solve a chaos problem that I was having there. I already have heroes. I am a hero. So how do I get out of it, and how do I remove people from this role, from this job? Right? Because I think this is a discussion in which we will learn more, listening to each other's ideas. Well, good morning. Now we lived through this experience of having a hero, and we did not want to continue having that. And a work we did, and I think the solution of this is very much associated to management. Everyone is saying what the company wants, so that is where we should start. And the company's management's job is to remove this from the company, making the work to be truly known by everyone in the team. There should be an exchange of information, and there we take over risks to end with this, because we added people who are not heroes to do jobs that in theory only heroes could do, and these people managed to do it. And when one person manages to do it, the others will try, and today we no longer have heroes in the company. So to take off the hero's hands the things that only the hero could do. Well, I agree with this idea of taking, but among the heroes that I had in my teams, usually there was a lot of lack of trust in the peers. The heroes did not believe that his peers would be able to do it, would be capable of doing so. He would end up, having more tasks. So not only distributing tasks and have this knowledge spread, but try to work with the trust. Have the team know the other people, know the capacity of other people, have a team build so that everyone could work as a team.
Perhaps these heroes, out of need, place themselves in another level of disbelief vis-a-vis the remainder of the team. But I think trust is of the essence in this scenario. We have a hero today at the company I work for. And one of the things that we have done, he became a bottleneck really, is to protect the bottleneck. That is, we began not requiring anything from him. We bring in the commitment to other people in the team, even though they may not want that, but we delegate activities from this hero to other people. And this really armored him, and we never request him to do anything. So we're let it hurt. We are taking the risk of a mistake, but all that is very good and fine. Let it hurt, such that other people will learn to adopt the same commitment that this hero adopted, and not become other heroes as well. Let it hurt. Let it bleed. I want to share a case that I faced in the company I work for, and we could somehow mitigate a situation. We do not need the heroes, but the team has to hold the powers that are necessary to solve problems. The big secret may be these powers not being centralized upon a single person. The key is knowledge, sharing knowledge, the having the knowledge available, mobile programming and so forth. And we had a case of a Superman who flew and shot and fired shots and did everything. Any problem that the team had 3 days lost in analysis, he would stop and think, and in the wee hours of the morning, he'd solve it. And we began to encourage sharing his knowledge with other people, and he was quite isolated, very sheltered. And we removed him, put him elsewhere, and potentially, magically, the other half dozen people who were hidden appeared with the powers within the 8 to 5. He was a rotten apple, that's what he was. I see that the hero's role is not sustainable, because at one time the hero will solve only one specific type of problem and not tackle others. This has become a bottleneck for the company, and we have to think about the company as well, because that will not interfere with his career. And if the company encourages a hero, it may very well be that he won't remain there very long. And when a hero comes up in the company, he should share what he's doing, the problem that he is solving, with anybody in the team. And so come here, let's talk, look at what I'm doing. And in this manner, he will not be the only person who knows how to solve a problem. Hi. A different view is one of the things that really promotes the existence of such a hero is the time frames. There are some situations where we know that the project will be delayed, but we don't want to share this with the client or customer. The team will be pushed, and that will make a hero to sprout in the team. And sometimes the team talks to the manager, talks to a supervisor to remove such resistance and say, well, next time let's talk to the customer and he will understand that we also make mistakes. Sometimes it takes some time to find some hindrance against better improvement, but they say this customer is essential. We cannot talk to him. We have to deliver. Otherwise, it is going to be our company, because our company is depending on a good delivery. In these actions that are developed in some projects and in others will entail the creation of a hero, the appearance of a hero, and to protect the company and the team against that will prompt the perenation of the hero culture. Another situation where I've seen the hero sprouting, and perhaps we need other plans to approach the issue, is the cultural shock between and among companies. Sometimes we exit a company where you have a boss telling you what to do, a boss that will orientate you in what to do. Then you will be in another scenario where the environment is so collaborative that everybody shares decision making. And the hero sprouts because there's those who know the culture and they know that each one will help you, but there are those who came from another context which was not like that, and these people will end up allowing a hero to appear because he knows the collaborative environment. He has a sense of urgency. And how could we turn around a scenario like this? I think that we're talking about solutions within the teams, and people are mentioning a number of elements that take time: capacity building, shattering incentives, and so forth. And for all this to happen, you need the leaders, organizational leaders, aware of what has to happen. But there's a problem of the incentives in the companies. Colleagues said, well, they don't They don't never hire heroes, but in the short term, when something crops up, then this is what they need and this is what they want. But companies do not have encouragement or incentives to change. They have been working like this for a long time. They're enjoying profits and they're supporting themselves and they're thriving and surviving. And they have to understand that, man, in the short term, I'm going to be in a bad position. But when the short term is supporting companies, there's nothing to be done. I noticed in this debate that, as far as I'm noticed, we have two types of heroes. One of them is Google, and the other one is the non-stoppable. There's those that no matter what, he'll be up and running. And there's Google, which is the source of information to those who are learning in a team. Those fellow who can be, he's a resource person. He will solve anything, any problem that you give him. He has to work during the weekends because if you've stipulated your goal, you have everything more or less organized. You may slip away with the time frame, but nothing that will stop you during the weekend. It may very well be that the unstoppable person is the same hero as Google, the Google guy, and there's those who are stopped every 5 minutes to answer a question, and this will prevent them to comply with meet their deadlines. And the Google guy has to learn that person who's asking him, learn that the person who asks a question has to find a place to ask another place to seek information for the correct practices and so forth. And oftentimes it's the most experienced fella will become the hero. I'd like to make a deposition. I'm a hero, but I don't want to be a hero. I think that everything that we're saying here, we have a lot of habits of blaming the next guy, the manager or the company, but I understanding that I am in a moment of my life that I have self-awareness. I understand that I have to stop being a hero. Called my manager and I said, it will break. And as Aurea said, this will bleed and hurt because I cannot take over this world anymore because I don't want it, because I'm really stressed and tired. Self-awareness is very important then, to look at how you are now and check whether this is what you want and how we're going to evolve later. Cool. Well, I asked for the microphone to stop because now we're going to pull all this together. We've talked a lot about where heroes come from. And as far as I've heard, now we should say that there's nothing new. What I heard from you is heroes appear because an emergency appears. And somebody has to do something about it. What else makes a hero appear? Only what we have indicated. As far as I understood, a number of things were indicated here, but I would sum them up as a system that feeds heroes and removes nourishment from the team. We have to change the system such that everybody has nourishment, and not only nurture those who are growing faster. In a nutshell, concerning what I said about how heroes appear, those are emergencies, unforeseen situations, deadlines. Deadlines, they always create difficulty of saying no to customers and project owners, and the difficulty of conveying knowledge, because you will end up concentrating upon a single person. These are the issues that I captured. So this is about it. For the hero creator, those are the things that we've captured, correct? And the next thing that I would like to know from you in this session, what have you heard about how to discourage the hero culture in and by itself? Only what you heard, not new things. Just say no. Management has to distribute what is happening. We have to tolerate mistakes in order to allow people to take over their own jobs. And in general, we have to understand that there is a corporate involvement that this is going to stop happening and not be encouraged anymore. And I have the impression somebody was saying something about the lack of knowledge, and we have to find a way of people stopping being Google. I think what I capture is the issue of the deadlines, a strategy for less narrow deadlines to prevent the appearance of a hero to save everybody at the last moment. On the knowledge part, we can deliver mini lectures with the team to capture what the Google person knows and convey it to other people, and to learn information, capture information from elsewhere. Lecture, I'm going to upload it soon. Everybody participated. But everyone who grabbed the microphone, I'd like you to come up here sometime. There's something that concurs with this dynamics that you began. You wagered on collective intelligence, and not necessarily what you had previously prepared to say. This would be the best of what everybody could contribute. So, in line with this, and considering that managing content all and by yourself is much simpler than having to manage everything that everybody's saying, which may even not be adherent to or coherent with what you want. This is only possible because who would possibly be the hero? You, for example, will reach a level of maturity which is rather different. Oftentimes, the question that everybody addresses is to treat the team but not the hero. He was very well perceived and seen, but now the hero is the bad guy. This is not the case. It's a matter of working with the hero to understand that he could better collectively will prompt you to gain much more than relegate him to a second role. Concerning this issue of the hero is built, appears in situations ensuing from his own activity. But the hero is after information that other people couldn't obtain. This is what happens in my company. Person obtained a lot of information that nobody had. This is why he became a hero. And the hero has a major opportunity to disseminate knowledge because at some time he acquired much knowledge that other people don't have. Then he became a hero. So, as from this hero, you have to convene meetings and help such that he can disseminate his knowledge, a big disseminator of knowledge. So to encourage heroes to convey their knowledge. And in completion, we have to, as leaders, we should accept these other people in order that they accept that everybody will become a hero and everybody will have this knowledge. We have to understand that the technical debt will appear, will be incurred, such that other people will join the flow. Then there's the techniques of solving for technical debt. Pull the team, everybody discusses, and information plus information. So take risks in the process, correct? I added another one that I liked when you mentioned, and we didn't repeat it. And with this, sometimes it is necessary to extract the hero from that situation. Remove the hero and other people appear. The last question, in a nutshell, I think that we talked about the issue of trust. We don't trust other people in the team, and we don't give everybody equal opportunities. Concerning the trust issue, in the view that I have, this is a fallacy. So to expect to trust, wait to trust until delegating will never happen. Person never made a mistake, never learned, will never grow. People must have maturity, but this person will never be mature if you don't delegate and allow this person to learn from this person's own mistakes. Lack of trust, working on the team's trust is of the essence. Another one? Excuse me, that we're not adding new ideas. What we're doing is capturing the session so far. Absolutely last. I'd like to comment on something very important. You said no new things, but as concerns the heroes, we have to work against frailty, because when a hero appears, that hero is also a point of frailty. We're on an event about agility, and we have to prevent these things. So when a hero is born, a frailty point appears in the team. So we need opportunities to remove the hero from there and having the rest of the team to keep on growing. It is very important to remove this hero. And at the company, we comment about preparing the ground to groom another person, to make people appear. And this is very important in the process. I know this was of the essence. Time's up. I'm sorry, we're stopping now. Thank you all for your participation. And thank you for coming. I hope that you have learned something. And if you said something today and contributed to this knowledge, please come up here and tell me. Thank you all.